Oh boy, are they trying to get you out of your cars and into those 15-minute cities. Now, as a mechanic, professional full-time mechanic, I take this one a little bit to heart. Now, this is a story from the website is browncarguy.com. I'll leave a link in the description down below. European proposal to ban 15-year-old cars. Yeah, that's right. They want to get rid of those old clunkers. Is that what they're trying to do? Well, we'll see. And I know it's happening in Europe, but it's only a matter of time before they bring the same legislation here, and we're going to get into why that is a little later in the video. Now, this is what they're calling the residual vehicle regulation. In a move that could forever change the landscape of our streets, the European Union is considering a groundbreaking proposal that has car enthusiasts and everyday drivers alike up in arms. Dubbed the residual vehicle regulation, this proposed law aims to prevent the repair and thus the continued use of cars over 15 years old that encounter significant mechanical issues. Now, this is insane. It's a piece of legislation that's basically, it's going to get cars off the road. Older cars, they want to get them off the road. Of course, it's masked in this whole, climate change, save the environment, all of this stuff. Now, the argument would be, if we have to keep buying new cars, like this is going a step beyond planned obsolescence. This is like, no, they don't even have to make it obsolete anymore. They just demand that after 15 years, you're not allowed to repair the thing anymore. Now, this is not going to help the matter with the environment because we're going to end up having to build more cars. This is really, at the end of the day, what happens. And the carbon footprint or the environmental footprint on building a car is a lot greater than maintaining a car that was already built. Now, this is another article, wheelsalive.co.uk, reporting on this. With the internal combustion engine to be consigned to history in the not too distant future, recent information has emerged regarding the European Union's plan to restrict repairs on older vehicles, reports Eco Weekly. Now, it's really interesting because, I used to live in Japan and they have a similar thing but it wasn't for the environment. It was to foster the car industry, to get more people to buy newer cars. They put restrictions on older cars. We basically have to pay a bribe every couple of years just to keep the thing on the road. And the bribes would get more and more expensive as the years went on. This led to more people ditching their old cars and then buying brand new cars. But living in Japan, I remember seeing the trucks going out of the scrap yards with just crushed cars, tons and tons and tons of them. It's not very, at the end of the day, it's not economical, and it's obviously not great for the environment either. So that was a thing that Japan did, but for economic reasons. And I disagree with their economic approach on that one either. But this is the result. You see, you're still allowed to have those cars in Japan. They're trying to ban them outright. Cars experiencing failures in major components such as engines, transmissions, brakes, or steering, and demand old, potentially around 15 years. Will fall under this category. Once labeled as residual, these vehicles would be barred from undergoing significant repairs and would be likely scrapped. This is crazy. I don't know if this, what it might end up doing is opening up a black market, gray market, mind you, in the aftermarket of people bootleg repairing cars. I mean, your mechanic buddy under the table people are already doing this to save costs at garages, but this is this might be the case. People trying to do this. Now, the arguments are in this. Now, I have another article here that's supposed to be debunking the whole thing. He raises up a bunch of interesting points, and I'll leave a link in the description down below, but it doesn't really debunk it. I think what he's debunking is that a lot of classic car owners are really up in arms about this right now. Obviously, classic car owners would want to be able to still maintain their car and keep it and have it as a collector's item. Largely, I'm guessing that they'll be exempt. There will be some sort of exemption for classic cars. But what they're really aiming for is the 15-year-old car. Now, you don't have to think that hard to find out that 15 years old, that, you know, we're talking about 2009 vehicles. They're not that old. They're not that old in the grand scheme of vehicles and being on the road. I know here in certain parts of Canada, cars don't last that long in general, because cars rot out, and people in the Rust Belt know this. But there are very many places all through Europe and through North America that definitely can maintain their vehicles for an extremely long period of time. So is this some sort of cash grab? I'm not sure. I feel that it's more get people out of cars and make it unaffordable to even obtain cars, because at the end of the day, this is what's going to happen. Now, this article, he does get into the fact that they're really just trying to get older cars off the road, and they're actually trying to get cars not to be transferred when people are done with a car, not to go to one of their neighboring European countries, where a lot of the dead cars end up going to be fixed and then used. They're trying to avoid that. Now, why do people do that? Well, they do that because it's uneconomical. Like, we're talking about, you know, families, maybe like single mothers, things like this, where they can't afford a brand new car every couple of years, every 15 years by this regulation. Can't afford these new cars, so you fix up old clunkers. And we're not talking about ones that are going to be driving on the Autobahn and things like that. No, we're talking about cars that just need to get you from point A to point B. Now, I would say in Canada, we're a little bit laxed on the inspection stuff. I think that some people should be hauled in for inspections of some of their vehicles that they're driving down the road. And I'm saying this professionally as a mechanic. I've seen some of the cars that people even refuse to have service done on them that are largely unsafe. But this isn't about safety. This is largely about getting people out of their cars and get them into their 15-minute cities. Because at the end of the day, that's where it's going. If you can't have a car, well, you're going to have to live somewhere where there's public transportation and you're close to all the things that they'll allow you to get to. This is really what it comes down to. Now, I don't argue against 15-minute cities because of convenience. That's obviously a bad argument. I used to live in Tokyo, and it's fantastically convenient. Never needed a car while we were in the city, but we still owned a car because, you know, it's always nice to get out of the city and do other things. That's, at the end of the day, that's what that's all about. But this new regulation coming out of the European Union. Now, what they talk about is the fact that just like in Canada, the European Union has been making these moves continually. The EU's ambitious Fit for 55 program seeks to eliminate direct transport emissions by 2050, with interim goals including a 55% reduction by 2030 from 1990 levels. Now, a significant step in this journey is the 2035 ban on new combustion engine cars. We're seeing this here in Canada, and it's same idea, same ban, set for 2035, but it starts next year, where all manufacturers have to have, I believe it's 20% of their fleet has to be zero emissions or electric cars, all electric cars. Now, this is going to be difficult for companies who have refused outright to do only electric cars, such as Toyota, some of the others. But this is all it's going to do is limit the number of cars that Canadians can get on their hands on, and that's all that is. Now, the same thing in Europe, they're going through the same thing, excluding vehicles operating on potential future synthetic fuels. However, the reality presents challenges. The uptake of low or zero emission vehicles in the EU lags behind expectations, varying significantly across the member states. Now, my point of view when they first passed this thing, the 2035 thing, my guess was, wow, okay, we're just going to be repairing more old vehicles. Now, it looks like they're going a step ahead and they're banning the repair of vehicles that are 15 years or older, which is, of course, nowhere near the end of the life of a vehicle. This is all artificial. But hey, leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think about this. Do you think that this might come to Canada? Do you think it'll even pass in the European Union? Maybe there'll be enough upheaval over it that they'll let this one go. It seems that the zombie of the state, this is the apparatus. It's crazy. The only thing it can remind me of is a zombie, where it just keeps coming and you knock it down, it just gets back up and it just keeps coming at you. This is the bureaucracy that we all live under. Anyway, leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think. We'll see you in the next one. Keep on trucking.